therapy is the idea of achieving non-musical goals versus like musical goals, communication, language. So in a music therapy sense, I think foster like communicative ideas and stuff like that, like knowing colors and numbers and stuff like that, I guess. And then, musically, we're learning how to keep a beat on a drum, so building those skills. So we do like different color egg shakers, and we make a song about it, and then point out what color is this, and then just keep reviewing it each week. If I'm being completely honest, my sister went for it, and she's a music therapist. She works at St. Mary's Children's Hospital, and it's not that I copied her, but I was like, that sounds really cool. And I also wanted to help people and use music, because who doesn't want to make somebody's day better by using their favorite thing. I've been doing music therapy for the last 2.5 years. For the last 2.5 years, I graduated in 2021 with a BS in music therapy. I graduated from Malloy College. I've been just working a lot. I work primarily with 7th Street, and I have a couple of different private clients myself, and then I also work as a ComHab, that's community habilitation, with one-on-one, out in the community, and people with autism or different diagnoses.
You're busy.
I am, and I'm also studying to be a music teacher, so that's another. It's been amazing. I have a lot of fun with the 3-year-old that I see. It's really cool. What I started to notice how elementary music and music therapy really mimic each other. So there's one client that I currently work with, and he's 2. And just by doing all of these different activities and exposing him to different colors and numbers and all these things, he's starting to actually learn and say certain words that he picks up from the sessions. His mom always tells me, when you leave, he'll get stuck on that word that you brought in, and in a good way, green, green, because we'll do colors, and he starts to apply those things in his day-to-day, helping foster that communication, those language skills, those things that people should be knowing as they grow up. I worked with another student for a while. We just stopped working together, but it was for 2.5 years. And he was an example of a student that had autism. He was completely nonverbal, and he used a communication device. So towards the end of our work together, I started using the communication device to work with him. We would do the stuff that I did with my other client, where we would just getting him to communicate with me in general. So doing songs like Old MacDonald, and then, what animal do you want to pick? And then it would be he would point to, he'd have all these different animals on his device, and he'd point to one. So communication. It always starts off as building the trust between you and the student, because especially you're going into someone's home, it's who are you? You know what I mean? But after it became part of his routine, he really started to love it a lot. It just became this thing where whenever I leave, I like to close out my sessions with a goodbye song. It's a common music therapy thing, and he would freak out when I left. He'd be he'd run to the door. But for a while in the beginning, actually, he didn't know how to process his emotions of oh, you're leaving? I'm sad. So he would get up and sometimes get aggressive with me. But I always know that it's coming from a place of I don't know how to express myself, but I'm really enjoying my time. I don't want you to go. And then over time, we worked on how to process, and I gave him more space at the end of the sessions, because sometimes I would sit next to him at the end, or I would just take more space, and then he was able to after a while of just having sessions at the routine, he would be okay, I know what's happening. But it always was a looming thing, because even towards the end, when he hears me sing the goodbye song, that's when he starts he knows something's up. You know what I mean?
Wow, yeah.
But in the before like parts of in the middle of that session and everything and what we worked on, he became more and more interactive and opening up to me. It was never verbal, but whether it was like movement that day or it was a tactile thing. Like he's a very tactile kid. Like he would probably thrive the most if he was like playing on the drum or if I was giving him a high five or holding his hand. And he seemed to really learn that way best. So after a while those things kind of like became more and more of a thing and more trust was built between us. It went from I'm a stranger in your house to like we have a musical connection, you know?